would like to introduce firstly about Vietnamese people's appearance. Next, there will be some examples of costumes. And finally, Trang will introduce transportation and travel. Before we start, I would like you to watch a movie, a video clip of BB Mock. They are quite well-known boy band from England, and this video clip was produced very long time ago. So our country was presented very nicely from their video clip, and
tiếp đi làm sao đó.
Oh, all right. Next, I want you to know where we are. This is the world, and this is Finland. We are here in Asia. Our location is in between South Asia and East Asia. So for many historical reasons, we were influenced by East Asia more. The distance between us is 7,507 kilometers. It's very far, isn't it? And we are also different with you guys in many things. For example, in cuisine, clothes, attitude, and so on. Therefore, our mission is to reduce the distances by providing an understanding of Vietnamese people. I also hope you will do the same for us. So, how do Vietnamese people look like? Of course, we are Asian, so we have darker skin, we have yellow skin, and we have black eyes, we have black hair. But so do other Asian people, right? So that's why I came up with this question, because I don't want you to confuse between Vietnamese people and other Asian people. I give you here some very beautiful pictures of Vietnamese people. They were present in our travel industry for a while, and as you could see from the pictures, we have not only distinguished clothes but also friendly faces. You might see our traditional clothes more later on at the end of our presentation. But now I'll show you very common types of people in our society. First, there are people on the fields. Why is that? Because we are an agricultural country. 75% of the population living in living by planting trees and feeding cattle. You could see now the typical farmers in the south with very nice scarves. These scarves are not only helpful to clean and to clean faces with, but also to cover their faces on very sunny days. Now this is a typical farmer in the north with you could see the way she ties their she tied her scarves. It's very different with South people. Many of them wear broad brimmed hats called nola to work on the field. So then I'll show you some pictures. Then I'll show you some pictures of people in the streets. People here are wearing coats because the weather already turns to winter in the north of Vietnam. We don't have snow there, but because the climate is wet, so usually the winter time is also quite cold. It's around 10 to 15 degrees. Here you could see that we use very much motorbikes in many types and many sizes. They are the main type of vehicles in Vietnam. We also would like to dress up very casually and graciously, like other Asian countries when going to party or festivals. You cannot say any differences between us and other Asian people when we go to the same party. Here are some students. Basically, our students wear white shirt when they go to school. That's a rule from a very long time ago, and still we follow this nowadays. Alright, how about costumes? We have a lot. The first one I want to introduce you here is our two-ton or our four-side clothes. It has the origin from the north of Vietnam, where people dress them up in some traditional singing competitions. In the past, it's more simple and therefore it can be used every day and became the first costume in Vietnam. Next, it is our baba or Mrs. Tree's clothes in plain Vietnamese. It is basically just a thin shirt plus a traditional hat plus a trouser. Typically, this type of clothes worn by agricultural community of people in the south where the weather is always hot and you don't have to wear much clothes on. Sometimes we use one unique scarf, I have said in the beginning, to cover their faces. Finally, we can't forget to tell you the most beautiful costume in Vietnam, We call it áo dài or long clothes in plain words. This is also the uniform in many organizations and schools. In this picture, students in high school use it with white color. We also use it in festivals and every beautiful competition in parties and everywhere. People in Vietnam, from south to north, from young to old, from village to city, they all consider it as a national treasure. You could see here the clothes is not only elegant but also slender, and shows the dresses clothes in very attractive ways, and therefore worship woman beauty. Do you agree with me that it is one of the most beautiful costume in Asia and also over the world? Thank you for listening. Không biết sao nói. Tiếp đi.
Okay, so my partners, Giang has provided information for you about the costume and Vietnamese costume and location. And now it's my turn to continue with transportation and travel in Vietnam. So as many other countries in the world, we use different kinds of means of transportation to move in one cities, between cities and between countries. For example, airplanes, trains, shipboats, buses, and different kinds of. And different from Finland, we don't have tram or metro, but we still have buses as public transportation. So let me ask you a question. Yes, and which is the most common way of transportation in Vietnam? Motorbike. Yeah, we have 3 options here. Then the answer, of course, is not a car. A car is not popular in Vietnam because of high cost and inconvenience to move in small streets in Vietnam. It's not a bus either, although it offers a much lower price, but actually in Vietnam the public transportation system and